Hello everyone, my name is Yongkang He. Today I'm going to show you how to migrate containers from a Huawei Cloud CCE to Alibaba Cloud ACK. So CCE, that's the managed Kubernetes from a Huawei Cloud. It's called Cloud Container Engine. ACK, that's the Alibaba Cloud Container Service for Kubernetes. So previously, I already recorded multiple videos talking about how you can easily to migrate the containers in just about 3 minutes. The first one is about how to migrate on-premises Kubernetes to Alibaba Cloud ACK. Here is a link. And the second one I recorded is about how to migrate from one OpenShift container platform cluster to another OpenShift container cluster. And the last one I recorded is about how to migrate from Azure Cloud AKS to Google Cloud GKE. Basically, that's a Google Kubernetes Engine cluster. So this time, what I'm going to show you is how to migrate from a Huawei Cloud to Alibaba Cloud. That's CCE to ACK. So here is a lab preparation tasks. If you don't have a CCE cluster, so let's build a CCE cluster plus install custom K10. That's the right tool for you to easily to migrate your containers. So if you don't have a cluster, you can build it by the web console. Here is a link. You can basically walk you through step by step how to build a CCE cluster. So once you build the CCE cluster, here is another link, how to back up the containers. So in order to be able to migrate, you need to back up the containers first. Okay, how to automate it? I got the automation source code available from a GitHub page. And secondly, you need to build a target cluster. So if you don't have an ACK cluster that from Alibaba Cloud, I got the YouTube video to walk you through how to build a ACK cluster on my web console. Here's a link. And if you like the automation, I also have the automation. Basically, you can automate the ACK cluster creation and the protection by the API. How to back up the containers on ACK? So you would need to know how to deploy the tools to the ACK cluster. And then, before you can migrate, you need to back up the containers. And similarly, I got the automation source code here. You basically, once you have a cluster running, could be a CCE, could be ACK, you only need about 3 minutes to protect the containers. I got the automation source code all available from a GitHub page. And the other important thing is that you need to have a common S3 bucket. Basically, I need to use this S3 storage bucket as a transfer media. So from my source cluster, I would export data to the S3 bucket. And from the target cluster, I will read the data from the S3 bucket. So here is a diagram to show you how it works. So first of all, you got I got my source cluster here from a Huawei Cloud, and I got Jenkins running as a containers from a Huawei Cloud CCE. That's the Kubernetes cluster, and I also have the custom K10 installed. Obviously, I got the Everest CSI disk, which is used by the containers. So when we do the snapshot, we actually we will take a snapshot of all of your Kubernetes configurations, all of your Jenkins application components, and and your persistent volume snapshot, etc. So once we done these snapshots, actually from the backup jobs, you will see you got 3 subtasks part of the backup job. And after the snapshot taken, we allow it to copy the snapshot from the container storage to the object storage. It can be any S3 compatible storage. Okay. Now I got another cluster Alibaba Cloud, I got the empty cluster basically. I also have a custom K10 installed. That's the tool to help you achieve the portability or application mobility to allow you to migrate Jenkins from a Huawei Cloud to Alibaba Cloud running as containers. So on the right-hand side, you can see I don't have Jenkins here. So the first step I need to do is I will import the data. So basically, I will read the data from the S3 object storage bucket. And after I read the data, I will do the restore of the containers. After the restore job is done, the Jenkins will be available from my target cluster. Okay, so let's continue. So I will give you a quick live demo how to migrate the Jenkins running as a containers from my source cluster CCE to my target cluster, which is running on Alibaba Cloud ACK. Step 1, I need a backup policy from the source cluster. I need to create a location profile using the S3 bucket. In this case, I will using this storage bucket name, K10 Migration for Yongkang. And I do the backup from a source cluster. And also I will export to the Amazon S3. So why I'm using Amazon S3? Just to showing you, you can leverage any S3 object storage. So in this case, I will choose Amazon S3. And second step, you create an import policy from the target cluster. Basically, you also need to create the location profile pointing to the same storage bucket. That's where you can read the data, backup data from a source cluster. And I will do the import job, import the Jenkins backup from the S3 bucket. After that, I will do the restore Jenkins to the target cluster. So literally just about 3 minutes, your Jenkins containers will be up running on ACK in about 3 minutes. So let's optionally you can migrate. I got a PostgreSQL running from Alibaba Cloud ACK. You can migrate from ACK to CCE cluster in also about 3 minutes. So let me jump to my VS Code. So as you can see from the screen, I got 2 clusters running on the left side. I got that is CCE Huawei Cloud. I got a 1.19, that's the version. I got a 2-node cluster here. And on the right-hand side, I got 1.22. So basically running 2 different versions. I will migrate 1.19 from CCE to 1.22 running on ACK. Okay, let's get started. I'm actually, both of the cluster are still empty. I don't have any continuous, sample database. I don't have custom K10 installed. What I'm going to do is I will run the K10-deploy. By the way, it's publicly available from my GitHub page. I got the link. I will share with you the link. I kick off the job from a CCE cluster. In the meantime, I also kick off the job from my target cluster, which is running on ACK cluster. So both of the tasks already kicked off. So in about 3 minutes, sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. And once the job is finished, I will come back. As you can see from the screen, so on the left-hand side, I got a CCE cluster. It take how long? It take 1 minute, 22 seconds. I got a custom K10 deployed. I got a sample database deployed, and I also have the backup policy created, all done. And on the right-hand side, it also take about 1 minute, 1 minute, 15 seconds. So by end of the scripting, you're expecting to say, I got the token code here, and I got the link to access the web console. So what I'm going to do is I will double click here, copy the token code, and then click the link to launch the custom web console. So I launched the web console. It was launched to a different window. Let me move it here. Give me 1 second. So I move this window here. This is my CCE cluster web console from K10. Click sign. I paste the token code. First time login. Click submit. So once you log in, you can see you got the policies, you got a sample database, etc. The job is also kicked off. And in the meantime, let's verify. I got a PostgreSQL. That's part of my automation already being created, but I don't have the Jenkins running yet. So let me first deploy the Jenkins application. So the Jenkins deploy command will deploy Jenkins application to this cluster. Okay, so I will press enter to deploy Jenkins application. So while we're deploying Jenkins application to this cluster, I will log into the web console from our Alibaba Cloud. So again, I double click the link, copy the token, and click the link to launch the web console to Alibaba Cloud. Let me move this here. So this is a web console from our K10, but running on Alibaba Cloud. First time login, you will be asked to provide the company name, your email address, click submit. And you can see I also got the PostgreSQL up running. That's my application, part of my automation. But you can see the two applications here, I don't have the Jenkins. Okay, I only deploy Jenkins to CCE cluster. If I come back to custom web console from the left-hand side and the Huawei Cloud Group, you can see I got Jenkins just deployed. Let me just confirm. I forgot to show you from a Huawei Cloud Console, you can see I got a CCE for Yongkang. That's my cluster. I got a 2-node cluster here. I got a total of 4 CPU, 16 GB memory. It is running 1.19. That's my version. Okay. And on the right hand side, that's the Alibaba Cloud. I got 1.22 running from, this is from Alibaba console, web console. You can see I got a 4 CPU, 16 GB memory, but I only have 1 node. Okay, so just to confirm, I got the application here, Jenkins, but I don't have the backup policy yet. And I haven't created the object storage location profile yet. So what I can do is I can come to the settings here. I want to use, technically you can use the same storage bucket, but as long as from both cluster, you can access it. What I'm going to do is I make it easier. I just create a separate bucket for the migration. So what you can do is you click a new profile. As I said earlier, you give a name, you create a, say, I want to choose Amazon S3. You need to provide an access key, secret key, your region name, your bucket name, and then click save profile. I don't want to expose my access key, secret key. So what I'm going to do is I will use my automation to create the S3 bucket, the profile. So from my source cluster, I run this command, migration S3 location. So what I'm going to do is I will create a location profile. So let me come back to the console again. Right now, I only have 1 location profile. My object storage 1, OBS 1, that's running from a Huawei Cloud. What I'm going to do is add another storage bucket. So I'll run this command. If you haven't provided the AWS access key and the secret key, when you run this command, you will be asked to provide the access key and the secret key. Since I already provided the access key, secret key, so I will not be asked again. So after I run this command, you can see I do a refresh here. I got another location profile called my AWS 3 migration. I was running in this region, the Singapore region, AP Southeast 1, this is my storage bucket name. I will use this storage bucket to do the migration. Okay, I got the storage bucket here, but my Jenkins application, I haven't configured the policy yet. So what I can do is I can go to the applications tab. I can, from the Jenkins here, you can click create a policy and follow the screen prompts, and you can define your frequency, define your snapshot retention, define everything. Make sure you enable snapshot by export to copy to the right storage bucket. That's it. Then click create a policy. I want to make it super fast, so I come back to my command line. I will create a policy called CCE2ACK Migration Jenkins policy. So I'll press enter. So what we're going to do is we will create a backup policy and followed by kickoff the backup jobs. So right now we'll kick off the on-demand backup jobs. If I come back to the web console, this is running from Huawei Cloud, do a refresh. My backup policy called ACK to CCE. Actually, I forgot to change the name. It should be CCE to ACK Jenkins Backup. So I'm gonna leave it for now, but just for your information, this is from a CCE to ACK Backup. Okay, the job actually already kicked off. So if I go back to the dashboard, you can see my job already kicked off. So right now the backup job is running. So in the meantime, I will move to the second step. So in my target cluster, if I click settings here, I don't have the AWS S3 location profile yet. I need to create an AWS S3 location profile as well. So again, I will create the S3 location profile from my automation, migration S3 location.sh. So press enter and come back to the dashboard, do a refresh. You can see my storage bucket using the same storage bucket name, same region. I also have the storage bucket created from my target cluster running on ACK. Okay, so the environment is ready. Now we need to wait the job finish. Okay, while we're waiting, let me show you my GitHub page. So if I go to my GitHub page here, so there is a ACK-K10. So from here, you can see all of my source code are listed here. So for example, migration S3 location. So what's inside, and you can follow the screen, details to the whole automation is to automate your protection of your containers. You need to have a Alibaba Cloud Container, Kubernetes engine cluster running, and then you run the automation. You only need 3 minutes to protect. Here's a detailed, guide. If you don't have a cluster, I'll walk you through how to build a cluster. Okay. Similarly for CCE, I just changed the name, the URL to CCE-K10. Similarly, you got the automation here as well. Okay, this is more Huawei Cloud plus custom K10 to give you the automation 3 minutes to protect the containers running from Huawei Cloud. So now let me come back to my source cluster just to confirm the backup jobs is all good. The backup jobs actually just completed. So again, forgive me, the name should be CCE2ACK. Sorry for that. So I can see both of the tasks completed successfully. Part of the backup job, I got 2 subtasks. One is doing the backup. And then second task is to export, copy the snapshot to the object storage. So the first task, actually 3 small tasks. You do the application components snapshot. We do the application configuration snapshot and workloads Jenkins snapshot. So if I click the job details on the right-hand side, you can see actually all of the spec artifacts discovered by custom. So when it comes to the recover, we allow you to select the individual resource, do the recovery. Maybe some of the deleted secrets or config maps, or maybe services, role binding, etc. We allow you to just select the individual resource, do the recovery. So let me come back to the dashboard. Just to wait the final job finish. So we are doing the backup statistics. So once the job is done, it will mark the whole jobs completed as fully successful. So right now it's almost there. So now the second task is from the target cluster, we are going to create an import policy. But before you create the import policy, you need to configure the import, you copy the import token code from the source cluster. So from the source cluster, you can see I got to show import details, and I copy the token code. And now I come back to my target cluster. I need the token code, okay? So let me just reconfirm, make sure the backup jobs are all good. So from the target cluster, I will create the import policy. Let's say import Jenkins from CCE. That's from my source cluster. The policy type, action type, that's import. I paste the token code here, and I can make it every hour. If you want, you can make it on demand, or you can even make it every 5 minutes to do the import. And after the import the data, we allow it to restore after import. So make sure you enable restore after import. But very importantly, you need to apply the powerful transformation. Why you need a transformation? Let me come back to the VS Code. So if I do a list of the storage class from my source cluster running from CCE cluster, as you can see from here, I got a CSI disk. That's my default storage class. And now let me look from my target cluster. I run the same command. So you can see from my target cluster, I'm actually running my default storage class is Ali Cloud disk-e SSD. So basically, you're using different storage class. If you simply do the import without the transformation, definitely it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do here is I will add a new transformation. Minimum, you need to transform the storage class. So what's the storage class name? From the target cluster, let me come back to the VS Code. Let me copy the storage class name. I want to move to target cluster running on Alibaba Cloud. So I need to transform the storage class name to this one. Okay, I'll edit the operation. And the other thing I want to transform is this is a very powerful transformation engine. So custom provided give you the options. So my original cluster was created only, the persistent volume size is only 1 GB. If I want to verify, you can go back to your source cluster to verify. So what I can do is I can new operations. I can apply the powerful transformation. Literally any of the Kubernetes configurations, spec, artifacts, you can transform. So what I'm going to transform is I will replace my original size. It was 1 GB to 20 GB. I will copy the spec artifacts resource here from this is a JSON path name. So I will transform the spec resources requested storage size originally 1 GB to 20 GB. I will add the operation. I will create the transformation. Now all I need to do is just go ahead. If you don't want to check more, just to see the advanced options, just go ahead and create the policy. Once you create the policy, it will schedule automatically. For now, it will run every hour. I don't want to wait So what I can do is I can run once immediately. I will immediately kick off the import job, run the import, and also restore the application. But before I do that, just to confirm again, from here, from Alibaba Cloud Console, you can also under the workload, you can go from here. Sorry, I need to re-log in. So once I logged in, and I can show you right now. So from here, if I go to the namespace here, I don't have the Jenkins. I got a default custom IO. I got a system namespace. I got to use a PostgreSQL, but I don't have the Jenkins. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will run the policy. I will go back to the dashboard. You can monitor from the dashboard, or if you want, you can monitor from the command line, which is from Alibaba Cloud Console here. So you can get the port status. You can monitor the status of the port creation and the restore containers, how it is, what's going on. Okay, so I kick off the job. I just run the command. So as you can see, first of all, with the custom -io from this namespace, we launched the data mover service. That's the containers. We're going to use the data mover to help you to migrate the data from a source cluster to the target. So this is the first container. The container already running. Once the job is done, so we terminate the containers. Now we are, and yeah, it just take a few seconds. The container will be up running. So in the meantime, if you want to monitor from the, actually there is something is wrong. Let me pause here. Okay, let's continue. It looks like I messed up or something, but anyway, I just fixed the issues. So I also did recreated the policy with the right name. And as you can see, the policy run in the middle of the middle one here. So the policy one, CCE to ACK Jenkins Backup are all completed successfully. And the other one is for PostgreSQL database. You may ignore that one. So what we care is CCE to ACK Jenkins Backup. I got the successful backup jobs. Now come back to my target cluster here. So from here, what we need to do is, if you recreate the policy, you need to paste your new token code, which I just did. And what we need to do is just run once. I don't want to wait. I just run once immediately to kick off the import job, and click run policy. Come back to the dashboard to monitor the status. Actually, it's already been done. Yeah, since the policy, it is actually already been done at 8:57 p.m. So if I come back here, the policy, if I come back here, applications, yeah, the Jenkins is already up running. So because of my policy was there, and it was automatically kick off the job. That's why even before I manually to kick off the job already completed successfully. How long it take? So 2 minutes 47 seconds, we complete the job. So the job import Jenkins from a CCE, it's already successful. So import job successful, restore job successful. And now we're doing another import basically. So if you want to monitor from the console here, you can on the ports, you can select the namespace Jenkins from Alibaba Cloud. You can monitor the status. Because we're doing another import, what's going to happen is we will terminate your existing ports and then do the restore override. And in the meantime, if you want to monitor from a command, get the port status, and you can watch the port status. So from here, you can see my Jenkins restore, that's one of the containers, temporary containers, we're going to do the restore job, okay? And yeah, basically you see exactly the similar stuff. Or if you run watch from the command, so right now the Jenkins is already up running. In this namespace, Yong-Jenkins, and it is ready to service. And I come back to the dashboard, do a refresh, you can see my Jenkins is up running already from all my target cluster Alibaba Cloud. And come back to the web console, custom web console, you can see my job also completed successfully. This time it took 2 minutes, 22 seconds. Yeah, I hope it is useful to you guys. So to make sure to make the migration, container migration or portability so simple with custom. So I'll come back to the slide deck. Let me say what else. So yeah, there are a few, typical use cases why customers using the application mobility. So major typical use case. So for cluster upgrade, so you might be running older version, you want to migrate to the newer version. For this demo, I'm actually migrating from 1.19 to 1.22 from Huawei Cloud to Alibaba Cloud. And you can, part of the migration, you can apply the application transformation. Remember, we transformed the storage class, and we also transformed the persistent volume size. It was 1 GB, now becomes 20 gigabytes. And the test dev, you might want to migrate from a test dev to production, or production come back to test dev. So all different use cases. So one of the major use case, enable cloud portability and migration of applications between Kubernetes cluster. And secondly, keep some applications running on premises, and the others are running from the public cloud or maybe private cloud. And you want to migrate between public and private cloud Kubernetes deployment efficiently. This is the right tool. You might want to plan in your upgrade, and to prepare your upgrade, make sure the upgrade is successful. Remember, when you're running from 1.19 to 1.22, there are a lot of changes, the API changes. Your YAML file, it was working perfectly. But after the upgrade, it started to break. So things are not working. So with this tool, we allow you to mask all of these complexities. So we make sure you can easily to upgrade to the new cluster. So basically, high level, we do the backup from source cluster and we restore to the new cluster. It can be one-time migration or can be a standby DR. Just to include a few reference links here, and you might want to learn more about Kubernetes. We got the free training, and after the training, you can collect all these popular Kubernetes badges in our official documentation pages here. And you might be interested to automate the whole environment. So I got the free automation tools. Right now for Google Cloud, 6 minutes, one command to build a GKE cluster plus PostgreSQL database plus custom K10 all install. I got 2 links here. One link is the instructions. The other link is the source code, the GitHub page. And similarly for Azure Cloud, one command, 8 minutes, build AKS, MySQL, custom K10. AWS Cloud, 20 minutes, one command, build an EKS cluster plus Cassandra NoSQL database plus custom K10. On IBM Cloud, one command, 45 minutes to build an OpenShift cluster with OpenShift container storage or OpenShift data foundation plus MongoDB plus custom K10. Additional information about Kubernetes data management. So first of all, you need to have the Kubernetes cluster. I got the YouTube playlist to show you how to build the EKS cluster, AKS cluster, GKE, OpenShift, ROSA, VMware Tanzu, Alibaba Cloud, ACK, Huawei Cloud, CCE, HP, Ezmeral container platform, etc. And once you have the cluster up running, how to protect the containers? That's the second link. And you might want to learn more about the migration, container migration, from on-premise to cloud, from same Kubernetes distribution, from different Kubernetes version, from a different cloud. Okay, and you might want to automate the whole environment, build and protect the Kubernetes cluster-wide automation. And that's another playlist. So last but not least, if you are interested to join me to learn together, learn multi-cloud, learn Kubernetes together, here you go. Follow me on LinkedIn. You can also follow me on Twitter. Join my Kubernetes data management group. Right now, close to 500 members. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Right now, 400 plus members. So my YouTube channel all about how to build a Kubernetes cluster, how to backup containers, how to migrate containers. Last but not least, my GitHub page. All of my automation source code can be found from here. And it is actually pretty popular. Every 2 weeks, I've got hundreds of clones. So that's all I want to cover. Thank you very much. Feel free to connect to me. I hope it is useful to you. Send me feedbacks in the comments. Thank you very much. Have a good one.